Hello again, fellow oxygen addicts. It's due time again for another episode of Stationeers News. It's 2025, January the 12th, and today we have like 6 or so items to deal with. Some of these are actually a bit of a game changer. But let's begin with something small. Whenever you've been placing an item from a kit, for example a wall or a locker, the item you'd be getting was sometimes kind of a random-ish thing. This has now been changed so that all kits will always use their first item. In the case of the lockers, this thankfully gives us the actual standard locker, which requires 2 kits actually. So again, all kits will start with item 0, so to speak. What has not changed by this optimization is that once you've scrolled to a different item and then you drop the kit and pick up another one of the same type, that new kit will again start with item 0, which I personally find pretty stupid because once I've made a choice, I want that choice to be respected, no matter which instance of a kit I'm picking up from the ground. A locker kit is a locker kit. If I pick this locker, I want this locker, but that's not what we're getting. Anyway, there's some improvement here at least. Here we can see the same thing with the example of composite walls. I've also tried the flat walls, which, as you know, have as a default selection some kind of framed design, when all I usually want is just a flat wall, and that has indeed improved. You will start with a wall that has no visual features whatsoever. Our next topic is station batteries. So far, we could place them basically anywhere, and thus often people would just stack their small station batteries, giving the impression that the upper one is levitating. This is no longer possible. Not only do station batteries now require a foundation, but that foundation even needs to be a frame. That'll throw a wrench into some people's station building style. Of course, you could just place a hollow frame, put the station batteries on top or inside of it, and then remove the frame again. Many people actually do this to stack their manufactories. But maybe you're not that far in the game yet, so you don't have that many batteries. So you build a station around them, place a battery, and then you want to stack a small battery on top of it, but it may be impossible now to place the temporary frame. So yeah, that's a bit of a game changer. This next bit will definitely affect the gameplay, particularly at the beginning. If you drop frozen water or ice, for example oxide that you can mine on the planet, it will, like you know, only melt when exposed to sunlight or when there's atmosphere that exposes it to some thermal energy. So you would, for example, have to retreat into your airlock box in your evacuated station, drop some oxide, open your waste canister so that the melting process would be triggered, and then quickly open your airlock before the pressure has grown too much. That's over now, because you can just melt the ice directly with your welding torch. This even works for the arc welder, and indeed also for frozen liquids. So in the future, this tiny engineering puzzle has been removed in favor of a point-and-click solution, which of course unleashes some pollutant into your station, but you'll have that anyway, from welding your printers or ice crushers or batteries. Not quite a game changer, but certainly a most welcome bug fix. Neither the decorative glasses nor the sensor lenses will get burnt anymore by fire when your helmet is closed. I mean, how would the fire reach them, right? And indeed, that's now no longer possible. The sensor lenses, in case you don't know them, allow you to look through the terrain's soil to see ore directly, represented by a colorized 3D box with a letter symbol like AU for gold, Latin aurum, so you can dig straight down to the place of choice and take what you want. Another chip for the glasses allows you to see your station transparently. You will see pipes and cables, even behind walls. And finally, there's a chip that allows you to see the celestial objects. There's also a console hack that does the same thing, but the sensor lens's effect in this regard is so far only a placeholder. There will supposedly be, later, a more sophisticated implementation. Currently, you can just see as a labeled dot and line overlay where the Sun is, and Venus, and Mercury, and all the other planets, because all of those are simulated at all times in all worlds, a simulation properly following the Kepler laws. We're really off to a good start into the new year, considering the amount of adjustments and fixes we're seeing. Road flares can be tossed down and fired into the air, and if you do the latter, you'd see a lens flare effect, which so far was pretty low resolution and pixelated. This has now been improved to look proper. And here's another game-changing decision, at least for the early game. The mining supplies package of your lander now comes with a pneumatic mining drill on all worlds except space. This drill has been in Stationeers for a year now, and by the way, despite that, still doesn't have an on-off switch sound, and is driven by gas pressure. Instead of a battery, you just plop in a gas canister. The higher the pressure, the faster the drill. And I'm not sure, but I think it even outpaces the heavy mining drill when it's at full pressure. So if you're using a smart canister with almost 20 megapascals pascals pressure, the terrain becomes butter. This is a pretty cool change, just like the mining charges that have been in the lander for a while now. You should absolutely use them. They make mining so much faster and more fun, and they're even cheap to print. All you need is the security printer and a few most basic resources. Anyway, the pneumatic mining drill being part of the landing gear means that you have an early incentive to play with gases. It's great to just fill a canister to full pressure and then to drill away, because this drill is so much faster than the standard drill that you land with. And finally, Rocketworks slightly changed the storm sound by removing some of the two tonal aspects from it. And that's it for today. See you again next time.